Blessings, 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 blessings be unto you. This is Mercedes Warrick, and welcome to Sacred Key. I have on the table, on the altar today, the 2025 Sacred Key Ignition, the soul ignitions for our enjoyment. We'll put it that way. It's if you remember, these were a download that I received, and originally there were 77 in the deck, and this year I added 3 more. And as you can see, these are all hand drawn, and each has a meaning. And so when they come together, it is almost like the divine's way of presenting a message. And these have been used to prompt artwork and inspiration and solutions, resolutions. And so it's been a while since I've been here. So let's get started. The vertical plane is the divine, or the divine coming into form. We can look at it that way. It is also, the sacred key is the middle card, and it is the driving force. If you had nothing else to, a limited amount of time, I would encourage you to enter the unknown, is our sacred key card. So this is the vertical plane is the divine. The horizontal plane is the form or matter, or our actualized, realized living. And so when the two come together, it brings the divine into form, and it also allows form to be form to come into existence through divine language, through prayer, through blessings, through the way that we live our lives. And so this horizontal plane becomes very important for as a guide or guidelines for this particular moment. So let's do the vertical plane first. 4 causal forces: life, love, light, and liberty. These are the forces that are contained within all things. I like to say it's the force field of God. It's the ecosystem of God that we are allowed to, that is an allowance that we come in with. That means that everything that we need is contained or can be explained. In some cases, I've had to sit down and say, where's the love in the situation? Through these 4 causal forces. And I always love that I can sit and allow the blessing to come through, the understanding to come through, the comprehension to come through, and a knowing to come through these 4 forces: love, light, liberty, and life. Okay, it's actually at the top position, which is the life position. So it is really being reinforced that to stay and to become familiar with these 4 causal forces. And 2025 will be, in my personal work that I've done for myself, it is the year of bearing witness to God. And so in that bearing witness to God, it's in the little things. It is going to be a year, it's the year of the miracle, I think I wrote, but it is also really looking at the little things as miracles. The fact that, I had some really good grapes today, and they were just sweet and bursting with flavor, and I took a moment as I was chewing. It became a contemplative practice to chew these grapes and really imagine the sun sweetening them on the vine. Like, that's a miracle of God, right? So it's really in this particular position, it's really going to be I'm almost going to say the force field, the God field of our living for 2025. The sacred key, which of course is the apex of both planes, here is entering the unknown. And I think in America in particular, there's, within my circles anyway, there's some apprehension about what is coming. And it's so important to note that the unknown is not necessarily scary. but how we handle being in the unknown can sway our approach to living life. And what was very clear as I was sitting here was, again, through the middle passage, through the four causal forces, through the one infinite source, that we are surrounded, and through life, there's life. This is a very alive, there's one life and there's one living. This is a very alive energy. That how we approach our year is of our choosing, but source is available to us. And what I would say is source is available to us, but source is also available through us, through our daily living practices and through the people that we're interacting with, through the moments that we're having, that it is all one infinite source. And if we look at our whatever is happening before us as this is source, where is the love in the situation? How is the situation alive for me? And really begin to talk and speak in terms of the language of prayer for this year is the language of blessings. In the past, there's been the language of confirmation, the language of affirmation, the language of prosperity, and this year is the language of blessings. So speaking blessings, and even if have a blessed day, even if it's something as simple as that, but may you have a peaceful ride. I go Lyft in Uber. May you have a peaceful and safe ride today. Speak in the language of blessings, and then as I'm walking away, so be it done. And so as we formulate this network of blessings, it is going to begin to create, at least in your smaller circles, if not the bigger consciousness at large, a consciousness of being prosperous and wealthy in all times through the words we speak, through our expectations of the blessings that we're speaking into each other. And also it is going to be bringing life, like the blessings are speaking life into existence. And where this life card is very important because it's actually over light, and light densifies into form. So we can densify the living as through cooperation. The middle passage is cooperation, collaboration, care, impersonalization, don't take things personally, and neutrality, and understanding that source speaks through everyone. And so if we stay in our closed circles, and if we close our ears, our mind, and our heart, and not hear the voice of the divine in every person that we're interacting with, then we'll miss an opportunity to live and to bring life into our aliveness. I'm going to actually say aliveness, to bring aliveness into our daily living. This is sort of a macrocosm that can expand and affect the macrocosm. So the other thing is understanding your neighbor, knowing your neighbor, not just who they are. Hi, hi John, wave across the fence, but understanding and maybe getting to know who they are and what they hold sacred in their lives. And you can actually almost in less social situations, you can almost come into this as a knowing or an intuitive guidance. What is this person saying? What are they loving in this moment? It doesn't mean that their definition of love or what love would look like would be your definition of love, but it will allow you to come into understanding, and from understanding we can get to cooperation, care. It's not us against them, it's resolution. It's us coming to resolution. It's us coming into reception. It's us coming into resonance in everything that we do. And that's really, I don't like to use the word discipline, but the steadfastness of holding your sacredness, your sacred ground, and understanding the principles. Another thing that came to me yesterday morning was really interesting, was understanding the principles of the traditions, so that we can move away from Christianity does this, or Islamic does this, but coming into like, what does love look like in Islamic tradition? What does life look like in Islamic tradition? What does liberty look like um, in Judaism? How do Buddhists, just coming to an understanding, so that we know that these four causal forces, love, light, um, life, and liberty, there are tenets within each tradition that will bring us into a common understanding, so that as we're moving through our days, we will have that as a foundation of our mindset, of our heart set, of our world set. Okay? So, this causal force being the life force of the year, the knowing that the kind of the energetic energy for the year is being in the unknown. And the other thing that really came forward for me as I was doing this was also be open to new opportunities that you might not have come into an understanding or seeking for yourself. Something may be coming to you, and it may even look like it's going to be a disaster in the beginning. Like, I don't understand why this is happening. But if you stay in the four causal forces and you seek to understand love, life, light, and liberty in whatever is being presented to you, then you will know how to act from that position. So not all things that are unknown are dark, and even if there is some shadow in the thing that's being presented, you have a way to go into your sacredness and then begin to work it through, so you can intuitively, that gut feeling, that feeling of peace that washes over you, that feeling of just knowing that it's the right thing to do, or a thing that you should not touch within an inch of your life. These things this is the resolution for how to maneuver through the year. Excuse me. One infinite source is, again, a reminder that there is one source, one principle, one life, one love, one liberty, and one light. Period. So that which you may not know, the person next to you may know. That which you may not know, Source knows. And so it is a matter of being in your principle and having time to commune with Source, so that you can get to a loving resolution through the middle passage and step into the unknown, feeling like you have a light that's illuminating the way from the inside out. Okay? So I think that's in general what the reading is saying, and I've written some notes. I do these drawings, so I'm going to talk about some really practical things. Hopefully they're practical. I did this through spirit. So we are the part that makes the whole, and the whole is complete because everyone is here. So for me, the one thing that I would challenge myself is to be without judgment, and try not to be in a mindset of evaluation. When we talked about the middle passage, opening the ears, the heart, and the mind, that the whole is complete and everyone is here, right? The other thing is that these are magical times. There's a lot of magic in invoking a blessing and saying and declaring, so be this done. And doing it for each other. I think the other thing that's really that I love about doing blessings is sometimes I just don't have financial resources. I can't go buy something, but I can smile and I can send a blessing to somebody who comes across my mind and my heart. So this is a magical times, and you are the mystic, but understand, so is your neighbor. Right? So I think the other thing that we used to say is, out of the mouths of babes, so are the children, right? I would actually encourage, because of the way this layout came out, and there's a lot of connection to life force itself, to move away from electronics and technology. Make a time, maybe that is your time to look and bear witness to the wonders of God, or the working of God, but make that time to center yourself in the mystical part of yourself. And we talk so much about meditation and sitting, but I think this is a year for observation and witnessing, and really noting in the innocent eyes, the wondrous eyes, the eyes of awe and awesomeness, just how great God is, just how great the workings of Source are. And if God and Source and the divine is not your language, then look at love. One day in Los Angeles, as a matter of fact, I painted the sun. The sun was just gorgeous that day. But it was almost like God was sending love. I saw couples and husbands taking care of wives, and it was like this whole tableau of loving relationships just opened before me, and it was like this wondrous moment. We don't have to seek the wondrous moment, but I sure hope that when we see them, we're able to breathe them in and appreciate them. And that is a way of, changing our physical chemistry as well. Be unabashed and loving, and allow it to glow from the inside out. So I've gone through a moment right now, and one of the things that I have this meditation. I've been doing it for years, and I sit up and I place my hand over my heart and I say, I love you. And sometimes when things are really, really tough, that is the hardest thing to do for yourself. But to sit and say, I love you, as a meditation, and allow that to be the going in position for yourself. And even when your body may be rebelling, I think most of you, if you're following my channel, you know that I've had stage 4 cancer for 7 years. And so sometimes when the body's not acting right, it's like, oh my God. And recently it was like, I love myself. I love this body. I love this moment. Be unabashed and loving, and allow it to glow from the inside out. And I would really, really, really encourage you to love thyself first. Okay? Be in awe of the workings of God all around you, and take notice of the beauty. I think we talked about that. Speak words of life into people and communities, and be the blessing. Speak blessing as prayers, and pray into each other. Bless each other. And speak wealth into yourself. I think that this year, wealth as prosperity, the cup is overflowing, and abundance, there is enough for everyone. And speak that into yourself as part of the tradition of being compassionate, kind, and generous. Because when we are stingy, or when we feel like we don't have enough for ourselves, it's difficult to then turn over that last dollar. It's difficult when your body is not feeling well to show up for somebody. So I think the other thing is, speak love into yourself, but also speak wealth into yourself. My cup overflows with life and treasure. I am generous and kind. I give from my source the overflow of my prosperity. This blessing is transparent and overflowing, and has no boundaries, and it is my service to the world. My words are devotional love. My words are a devotional love letter to humanity, and I declare this. So be this done. Infuse the principles and laws of your sacred tradition into your daily living. And so we don't want, that's interesting. And so I would encourage you to speak words of life and love and liberty and light into yourself, into your children, into your neighbors, into the day, so that the collective consciousness is infused with blessings. And you never know when somebody might just pick up that blessing. When we are spewing fear into the collective consciousness, if we have fear and we all have this dump of fear, and then we can pick that up, equally we can infuse an abundance of love, care, and understanding, and just speak it. As I heal myself, I heal the world. You've heard me say that. And so I would encourage you to really take into your heart the the small things this year, and allow the small things to be nurtured and fertilized and cared for, and allow them to become what they will, as opposed to pushing and dictating what things are to become. There is what we sow, we reap. So I would caution you to live through the blessings this year. Give blessings, be the blessing, and receive. That's the other thing. Receive the blessings. So here is the Sacred Key Ignition. If there is one thing that is to be impressed upon you, life is still flowing with love, strength, and vitality through these moments called 2025. The point, though, is it's not at all laid out with a plan and a bow. Things will be uncertain, but know that this does not mean difficult, and the reliance upon yourself instead of your God will make the way unclear. The certainty is in God. The way is through God. It is emphasized that it is the God of all ways, so that it is imperative what the oneness is allness, and the wholeness is oneness, and the oneness is completion. The middle way is the pathway of neutrality. Seek to understand, allow for other ways, release your fear, and close ears, heart, mind into the steadfastness of love, cooperation, compromise, care. The task is not you against them. The task is resolution and restoration, so that all gain, benefit, and heals. One source with many ears means that there is a great opportunity to understand the promise of your neighbor. God is source. The blessing comes with you and through you. Life is ignited as you enter the unknown. This is new ventures, opportunities, relationships, healings. Seek to know not just your neighbor, but also what is sacred to them. Celebrate knowing source together. Celebrate the middle way. And know that which you do not know is known to someone, is known to source. Be the blessings of love. Fear not. Light a way. These are magical times. So blessings be unto you. Thank you for being here. Namaste.